YouTube. This is impromptu. I'm making this video because I'm just relaxing. I'm getting myself ready to jump back into the Forex game, and I've been planning some things. I'm relaxing. It's a 3-day weekend. I got some whiskey. I got some beers, and I am going to read this document called Digitization by Central Banks, Financial and Technology Companies. We're going to read this together, right? So this is a document made in 2020. Second International Scientific and Practical Conference, quote, Modern Management Trends and the Digital Economy, semicolon, from regional development to global economic growth, MTDE 2020. Mokiva N.N. Frace, V.E. Pankov, V.A. Not sure what that means. It says Ural Federal University, Yekaterinburg, Russia. Digital technologies, blockchains, and payment infrastructure central banks. I'm going to read this through. So grab a drink, grab some coffee. Let's get into this. Introduction. The relevance of research is determined by the rapid development of digital technology against the backdrop of economy globalization. The transition to the digital economy is manifested in business process, digitalization, introduction of digital technologies in the activities of industrial enterprises, organizations, service sector, government authorities, and financial institutions. The digital technologies mastering provides economic entities with undeniable advantages such as improving the efficiency of business processes, improving competitiveness and synergistic effect due to new opportunities for interaction between market participants, expanding prospects for activities based on the use of digital payment systems and digital money. Currently, the most common platforms used for piloting by financial organizations and solution regulators based on blockchain technology are Ethereum, Corda, Ripple, Quorum, Hyperledger, Fabric. The first prototypes and pilot projects. So we could definitely see that Ripple had a jump start, as did Ethereum, Corda, Quorum, Hyperledger, Fabric. Okay, so I personally, I'm going to pause here. I'm personally going to take profits into Ethereum when it comes time, because I believe Ethereum is here to stay. I am way more bullish on XRP though. So it says the first prototypes and pilots projects okay, this seems to be page 817 of a much bigger document. But okay, let's keep writing and let's keep reading. Analysis of the recent advances and publications in which this problem solving was started. The allocation of previously unresolved parts of the general problem to which this article is devoted. The theoretical and methodological background to the research was the provisions of economic and financial science in the classical and modern understanding of the conceptual positions of the financial market theory, scientific publications that reveal the essence and functional patterns of financial instruments, software and methodological developments of market participants. As a side note, you could go to my YouTube Twitter. It is Topinoch. That's the handle. Topinoch. Topinoch. And find this posting so you could download the link and read this PDF yourself if you don't want to hear me and my drunk ass reading it off. The methodological apparatus of the research includes methods of systemic, functional, factorial, and comparative analysis with the development of analytical models based on the synthesis of modern scientific methods for studying Economic and social phenomena. The methodological tools of research are graphical, analytical, statistical, and economic mathematical methods of information processing. If I didn't do this live, I would not read this. So we're helping each other out here. I'm forcing myself to read this by saying, I'm going to do a live and this is the content. So the extent of previous research of the chosen topic in various sources can be characterized as limited. Specific research to improve the financial markets tools through the use of innovative digital technologies does not fully disclose the use of technological innovations or do not reflect the entire problems of the chosen topic, are often only sources for review, not considering the various aspects and distinctive features of digitalization as a new financial and economic phenomenon of modern times. So far, do you understand what they're talking about? Like, things are changing and things are going digital, right? Review of publications by various authors prepared in terms of empirical and theoretical methods indicates the ambivalence of approaches to the digital economy formation, and the uncertainty in the financial technologies regulation. The empirical basis of the research in the works of Russian and foreign scientists and specialists in payment infrastructure, particularly I.A. Tkachenko, A.V. Varnatsky, A.O. Boryakova, Jones, Emily Zietz, Alexandra O., Campiglio, Emmanuel, De Fermos. I'm just going to read these off. Yanis, Monin, Pierre, et al. The information base is quite representative. Thus, there is a reliable basis for creating a payment infrastructure based on the use of digital technologies. 3. Research goal definition and objective setting. The goal of research is to analyze the effectiveness of existing tools based on blockchain digital technology used in the financial market. The subject of research is economic relations in the process of using digital technologies, development, and application of new tools in the financial market. So we're just talking about why they're researching, why they're even spending time on this, right? This document is getting more interesting with every sit. Okay. 4. Presentation of the main research material with full substantiation of the scientific results obtained, formulation, and recommendation. So let's see, maybe we're going to get to a conclusion in this paragraph. Among the projects implemented with the support of foreign central banks, the following can be noted. The Jasper project, which so let's take a note here, okay? Let's write, because so far we have XRP, Ripple, ETH, Corda, right? Because we know that Corda is a partner with Ripple. All right, so let's backtrack and see what projects we should have our eye on. Ethereum, Corda, Ripple, Quorum. See, I don't even remember what Quorum is. Hyperledger. Is Hyperledger Hedera? I believe so. I'm invested in Hedera. Oh, I know Hedera is fucking dope. That's why I put my money in. Hyperledger. Ooh, look at that. Hyperledger. Which way is the stock market going? It's going that way, huh? Okay. So, Jasper project, right? Another project that's being mentioned. R3, Corda, right? The Jasper project with main participants were the Bank of Canada, Payments Canada Payment System, the largest Canadian banks, as well as R3 Consortium, that's Corda. The solution on the Ethereum platform was based on a model of transactions in digital depository receipts, which were the underlying asset and formed the balance of claims between the parties for receiving part of their deposits in Canadian dollars placed with the Bank of Canada. Each digital depository receipt was the basis of receipting, if that's what it says, receipting the amount constituting the difference between the parties' obligations to each other. The main objective of the project were the development of options for the digital assets issuance by the Central Bank of Canada. So Central Bank of Canada in the game, as well as the analysis of the possible areas of blockchain technology application. Besides an analysis of Ethereum platform capabilities for compliance with the requirements of PFMI, the principles of financial market infrastructure was conducted. During the project, a test version of the payment system was launched, the calculations of which were performed using digital assets based on blockchain technology, CAD-coin, or settlement coin. CAD-coin, CAD-coin. Is that what they're going to call their CBDC? CAD-coin or settlement coin to achieve consensus and transition validation, the POW, proof of work. Remember, you have POW and POS, which is not it's proof of stake. Mechanism was used. Hello to my one viewer. Each bank had the opportunity to transact and fulfill contracts at its own mode. Hit the like button, please. Moreover, transaction validation was performed only by a node belonging to R3, Corda. Thus, within the Jasper project, it was possible to ensure the transfer of assets directly between transaction parties without intermediaries using the Corda platform. Within the project, the tasks of delimiting access rights to information in blockchains were solved. Information on all transactions was available to validating nodes controlled by the Bank of Canada, while settlement participants had access only to data on transactions in which they acted as a transaction party. The consensus building mechanism used made it possible to perform settlements according to the DVP and made it possible to perform clearing and post-trading procedures. So clearly, Bank of Canada is looking into this whole possibility of getting into blockchain. Within the Stella project, implemented by the Bank of Japan, BOJ, the European Central Bank, ECB, based of the Hyperledger Fabric platform, Adera, Hashgraph, aka hit the like, man. Designers have developed two types of smart contracts, and cheers. A simple contract that processes payments without queuing and mutual settling, and complex contract that uses liquidity saving mechanisms, LSM. LSM smart contracts had functionality for queuing payments and built-in mutual settlement mechanisms, which were based on the principles existing in BOJ, Bank of Japan, BOJ-net. The ECP Target 2 payment system. To test the smart contract's effectiveness, the program code was first run outside the blockchain system, then on one node without implementing the consensus mechanism, and only after that on the platform using the consensus mechanism. As a result, up to 65 nodes validating information were used. One of the most important conclusions reached by teams from the Bank of Japan and European Central Bank is the conclusion about the possibility of blockchain technology to meet the requirements of the payment system, including in terms of performance. The test platform successfully handled the processing of payments in a number comparable to the number of payments made in the Eurozone and Japan. In addition, as part of testing, it was found that the size of a distributed network had a strong impact on system performance. An increase in the number of nodes leads to a significant increase in the payments processing time. The second stage of the project involved the system expansion through the use of Corda, Elements, and Hyperledger Fabric platforms. The ability to transact with securities was tested both when finding information about funds and securities in one ledger and in different ones. Within the Bank of England project, the main tasks were to determine the possibility of using the interledger protocol as a technical solution for making interconnected payments in different currencies in different payment systems, analyzing possible scenarios of information processing, and identifying possible technical problems associated with payments synchronization. The result of testing was the successful simultaneous processing of cross-border payments in different payment systems. As part of new SWIFT technology's introduction in response to the active development and testing of solutions for cross-border transfers based on blockchain technology, SWIFT has taken measures for increase to increase the efficiency of its own financial messaging system. So Swift is being pressed to step their game up because this new technology is going to make them obsolete. So they either keep up or they're going to be in the past. As part of the new Swift technology's introduction, in response to the active development and testing of solutions for cross-border transfers based on blockchain technology, Swift has taken measures to increase the efficiency of its own financial messaging system. Hit the likes. As a result, Swift launched the Global Payment Initiative, GPI, which allows banks to make faster, more transparent, and traceable cross-border payments. Currently, more than 160 financial organizations have joined the GPI. What is that again? It's the Global Payment Initiative launched by Swift, GPI. More than 160 financial organizations have joined GPI. This was 2020. It is expected that the final transition to the Swift GPI infrastructure will be implemented before the end of 2020. Now, what year are we in? 2023. It's been 3 years since this happened. Do you understand where we are and how close we are for the switch to get flipped? Swift GPI implementation is performed in several stages, each of which is aimed at solving existing problems of correspondent banks in terms of cross-border transfers. Along with that, Swift also began testing the feasibility of using blockchain technology. New standards were created at the first stage. The Swift GPI tracker technology was launched May 22, 2017 to increase payment transparency and traceability. Due to the fact that access to the system is through a graphical user interface, it can be integrated into different systems of the bank. The technology is based on a cloud database, which provides users with the ability to track the payment status for the moment it is initiated until the receipt of funds to the account of the final recipient is confirmed, as well as fees charged at each stage. GPI tracker is updated both through the financial messaging and through the use of open interfaces. Each transaction is encoded by the ordering institution by assigning it a unique 36-digit code consisting of numbers and letters of the Latin alphabet. Information on the payment processing status of each of the organizations is stored in the cloud infrastructure, while data on transactions performed are confidential and protected by special protocols. At the same time, the organizations involved in financial messaging, as well as the transaction parties, can check the payment status and, if it is delayed, understand at what stage it occurred. Also, within the first stage, a new multilateral service level agreement, SLA, was introduced to which member banks should comply. The new GPI observer mechanism will allow users to compare the level of service delivery by specific organizations with SLA standards. In addition, the GPI directory was created, a list of banks that can send and receive financial messages in the Swift GPI, also containing information on the time of accepting payment orders, the currencies with which they work, and whether banks perform an intermediary function within the GPI payments. The second stage, we're halfway through this document. The second stage of the Swift GPI introduction was implemented in November 2018. Particularly, 3 technologies were launched. Stop and Recall Payment Service, GSRP. The technology allows for instant backout of payments being processed, as well as upon receipt of consent from the end bank, to refund funds that have already received on the destination account. Second, the GCOV service, which allows for faster receipt of funds to the destination account and the ability to track their status when the sender and payee accounts are not connected to each other. Third, advanced payment tracking with the GPI tracker, even for those transactions which participating banks have not yet transferred to the SWIFT GPI. At the final stage of the SWIFT GPI introduction, the possibility of applying new technologies, including blockchain technologies for cross-border payments, will be analyzed. In January 2017, SWIFT announced the launch of testing blockchain technology to verify the real-time reconciliation of Nostro accounts. Nostro, I believe, is Nostro. Vostro is going out, I believe. Nostro, Vostro account, and to increase liquidity. Testing was performed. Liquidity. What's going on? We're nearing another liquidity crisis. We are in a liquidity crisis at the moment. Pay attention, guys. Pay attention. In January 2017, I'm going to go over this again. SWIFT announced the launch of testing blockchain technology to verify the real-time reconciliation of Nostro accounts and to increase liquidity. Testing was performed in cooperation with 33 banks within its own sandbox. Preliminary test results were positive, but SWIFT was faced with the fact that blockchain technology should be used universally by all banks, making payments through the system, which is difficult to implement in practice. In addition, significant investments will be required to integrate solutions based on blockchain technology into existing systems. At the same time, according to SWIFT, it remains unclear whether the blockchain technology will increase the liquidity of Nostro accounts of financial organizations and reduce their operating costs. It remains unclear whether the blockchain technology will increase the liquidity of Nostro accounts of financial organizations and reduce their operating costs. So they're still not 100% at that point of 2017, not sure if this is going to help their bottom line, is what it's saying to me. Besides, for a thorough consideration of relevant ways of using blockchain technology by financial and technology companies in the second half of 2019 on a global scale, it's worth paying attention to the following projects in Europe and USA. Let's go. The Deutsche Börse Stock Exchange in Germany and the Swisscom telecommunication company in Switzerland successfully conducted pilot transactions for the settlement of tokenized securities through the blockchain platform. Microsoft USA launched the Azure Blockchain Tokens Cloud Blockchain Platform for using corporate Ethereum tokens using ready templates, for example, loyalty programs, letters of credit, or tickets. Microsoft. So Microsoft, Bill Gates already is all in on blockchain, or they dipped their toes in the water, and by now they're already moving along. Meanwhile, his buddy Warren Buffett and him have have you heard anything bullish from Bill Gates? But Bill Gates doesn't control Microsoft any longer. But I'm saying Paxos, a U.S. blockchain startup, obtained permission from the U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission to process transactions in the U.S. stock market. Paxos, another one. So far we have Ethereum, Ripple, Corda, Quorum, Hyperledger, Hedera, Jasper, Catcoin, the CBDC for Canada, Paxos, all notable projects in this document, okay? The German Commerce Bank, the Deutsche Börse Exchange, and the MEAG Fund entered into a securities transaction, the settlement and clearing of which was performed on the delivery versus payment on a blockchain platform. Wells Fargo Financial Holding in the USA plans to launch the Wells Fargo Digital Cash Pilot blockchain service based on the Corda platform for intra-group settlements. Okay? Are we understanding what's going on right under our nose? Nobody's looking? Huh? Do we see what's going on, people? Are we getting ready? Are we stacking right now? I'm telling you guys, we're at the bottom right now. We are at the bottom. All right. One of Spain's largest banks, Santander, issued bonds in the amount of USD 20 million and tokenized quarterly coupons on the Ethereum platform. Look at that. Santander, Ethereum. These banks are putting their money where their mouth is, because their mouth is saying, I don't even know crypto, but their wallets are investing into blockchain technology, such as Ethereum, such as Paxos, such as Corda, Hedera. We're talking about central banks too, Bank of Japan. Okay? Let's keep this going. We're just about halfway done, okay? And I'm gonna go all the way. First, to tokenize the entire process of bonds issuing the settlement. The German Deutsche Bank has joined the Interbank Information Network based on the Quorum platform. German Deutsche Bank, Quorum. Okay. The platform is designed for real-time interbank messaging on cross-border transfers and allows one to speed up the process of making payments that are incorrectly executed or require additional verification for compliance, which may now take several weeks. MasterCard payment system and R3 blockchain, which is Corda Consortium, announced a strategic partnership within which a cross-border payment solution based on blockchain technology will be created. Hit the like so more people can see this. It works the algorithm, please. R3 Corda MasterCard. So MasterCard is in the game. You know what? I'm going to hit the like. Based on the analysis of pilot projects of regulators, financial market players, technology companies related to the use of come on, hit the like button so I know that I'm not over here for like a creep, just watching and acting like just want to see what I'm doing, what I'm up to, and can't even hit the like button to acknowledge the time that I'm taking for this, huh? Technology companies related to the use of blockchain technology for payments, it can be concluded that the most of the tests started with platforms that were originally created for private use and mutual settlements using digital tokens, Ethereum in particular. But in the future, regulators transferred to the study of corporate platforms. This trend is explained by the fact that corporate platforms were initially developed for the specific tasks of financial organizations, and taking into account the regulatory requirements of various jurisdictions in the field of payments, requirements to combat laundering of income and financing of terrorism, and KYC implementation procedures. Currently, the main barrier is the cost of developing innovative technologies and finding the right functional niches for their use. This will require the efforts of all participants in the financial market, including the regulators of different countries, without necessary legal conditions, protection standards, and cybersecurity procedures, as well as supervision and incentive measures. It would be impossible to create such a complex transboundary ecosystem. It is 2020. They were saying it was impossible back then, okay? But we're not done with this document. Final statement. Conclusions of this research and prospects for further development of this direction. This analysis identified the main areas. What am I drinking? Jim Beam honey. It's pretty good on the rocks. That's what I'm sipping. And yes, I am sipping out of a measuring cup. Copper. You should use it. Trace minerals is good to have in your liquor. This analysis identified the main areas of activity of Russian companies related to the use of blockchain technology. These are mainly technology companies which core activity is the use of computer technology, software development, and the consulting services provision. However, the Russian market has companies that use tools based on blockchain technology, whose main activity is trade, production of electronic equipment, telecommunication equipment, biotechnology, and educational activities. One of the toolkit projects based on the mechanisms of blockchain technology was the Bank of Russia project on the cross-border transfers implementation. In the first half of 2018, the Bank of Russia's Novosibirsk Innovative Laboratory conducted research on testing the possibility of cross-border settlement using the Ripple platform. Ripple. Hit the likes. What am I going over if you're just getting here? It's called the Foreign and Russian Experience of Blockchain Digit.pdf. I put this on my Twitter. You can follow me on Twitter. My handle is Topinoch. Topinoch. Follow me there. And I'm going to forward this to my man, the Bearable Bull, as well as my other XRP guy. The name is leaving me right now because I'm focused on this. One of the toolkit projects based on the mechanisms of blockchain technology was the Bank of Russia project on the cross-border transfers implementation. In the first half of 2018, the Bank of Russia's Novosibirsk Innovative Laboratory conducted research on testing the possibility of cross-border settlements using the Ripple platform. Okay, this was 2018. We're in 2023, 5 years ago. Do you understand how close we are? The system technology assumed that the settlement participants had special accounts opened in national payment systems and addresses in the Ripple network. Reflection of operations in national payment systems could be performed both after each transfer and at the end of the trading day or at certain intervals. Based on the research results, it was concluded that the Ripple platform can be considered as the basis for starting work on creating a system of cross-border settlements, provided that the following organizational, legal, and technical issues are resolved. The XRP GOAT, I believe that's his channel. Use for XRP transfers or equivalents of fiat currencies issued by each participant and the national bank. Determination of mechanism for reconciling balances between the accounts of Ripple participants and the national payment system. Use of embedded cryptographic solutions on the Ripple network. Development of a procedure for determining cross rates for the internal currency of Ripple, XRP, when deciding to use XRP in interstate settlements. It's not interstate as in state to state, like within the US, interstate as in states, different countries. Maintaining correspondence directories between the addresses of the accounts of Ripple network participants and the accounts of the banks they serve in national payment systems. So they're just talking about what they would need back then, their requirements in order to use Ripple. In case of using fiat currency equivalents in cross-border transfers, it's necessary to take into account sources of information on proposals for the purchase and sale of currencies, determination of cross-currency exchange rates, the impact on organization of market makers. Source of it, market makers provide liquidity. So they're saying how using this is going to impact those market makers, those that currently provide liquidity and are not able to do their job correctly at this point. So how is this coming over as the new way of doing things going to affect the legacy system of providing liquidity? Okay? And I have something else to add. In case of using fiat currency equivalents in cross-border transfers, it's necessary to take into account sources of information on proposals for the purchase sale of currencies, determination of cross-currency exchange rates, the impact on organization of market makers, and source availability of market maker liquidity for each of the currencies used. What I wanted to say is, thank you for the like. Hey, we got a like. What I wanted to say is, this paper was written before AI even came into the picture, okay? This paper was written before AI. This was like 2018, 2020. Getting information from 2018, the paper was written in 2020. We're in 2023. Do you understand how close we are? The most significant Russian project based on the use of blockchain technology is the Master Chain decentralized network of exchange and storage of information. The Master Chain platform is a Russian national network based on blockchain technology designed to transfer digital assets and information about them between users. As a basis, the Master Chain platform uses the source code of the platform to develop Ethereum decentralized services. At the same time, it was finalized, taking into account the requirements of Russian legislation on cryptography, identification of participants, requirements for the implementation of a system to combat laundering of income and financing of terrorism, as well as a safe and efficient scaling process. The staged goals of the projects developed on the Master Chain platform are to optimize economic costs subject to information security and prevent cyber fraud, as well as reduce the level of paperwork flow and create a trusted digital information for the Russian financial market. In 2016, the Bank of Russia and the largest Russian financial market participants created the FinTech Association. The founders of the FinTech Association included VTB Bank, Alpha Bank, Kiwi, and a number of leading financial and technology companies. To conduct pilot projects, FinTech Association selected 4 projects that were developed on the Master Chain platform basis. Decentralized depository system for mortgage accounting, Know Your Customer (KYC) project to prevent fraudulent transactions by exchanging information about individuals between participants in the system, electronic bank guarantee accounting systems, and 4th, launch of digital letters of credit system. Please hit the like. We're 1 for 1 so far. You're the second one in. Taking my time and investing it in you guys. Let's go. While executing the project of decentralized depository system for mortgage accounting, the main goal was to reduce the cost and time of operations for the accounting, storage, and securitization of mortgages. Within the project, depositories form a cloud system for distributed storage of electronic mortgages and accounting for depository accounts activity. The processes between the participants are automated based on the use of smart contracts that comply with the logic of the current Russian legislation. The interaction scheme is presented in Figure 1. And again, if you want to check the document for yourself, follow along while I'm reading this, go to my Twitter, Topinoch, TOPINOCH. You could download this on Google, Foreign and Russian Experience of Blockchain Digit.pdf. Figure 1 is decentralized depository system for mortgage and accounting. So clearly they're going to be using blockchain for mortgages. Hit the likes. The main participants in the project are DOM.RF, Rose-Ritter depositories, and banks providing mortgage loans. By the time it was launched, electronic mortgage accounting was implemented in the decentralized depository system. Moreover, the system development involves accounting for other types of securities. For this reason, the commissioning of the decentralized financial market was performed on December 19, 2019. After being certified by the Master Chain platform, Cyberbank, and specialized depositories were the first to support the project, and by the end of 2019, 5 more large Russian banks and depositories began to use the system. To launch the first such solution, it was necessary to develop the infrastructure of blockchains and to form a regulatory environment that ensures the interaction of financial market participants. Amendments were made to the federal law on mortgage, the relevant provisions of the Bank of Russia on depository activities, digital document formats for electronic mortgage, structured message standards for exchange between depositories were developed. According to the FinTech Association, the project will significantly reduce the cost of storage, accounting preparation, and securitization. In addition, it is expected to reduce the time of operations from days to minutes. You understand how much money these institutions are going to save by using Ripple? We're 40 minutes in. Hit the likes, baby. Into minutes. According to the FinTech Association, the project will significantly reduce the cost of storage, accounting, preparation, and securitization. In addition, it's expected to reduce the time of operating from days to minutes, as well as increase the reliability of storage of mortgages and information on depository accounts transactions. Any of you that are familiar with Propy Coin, mortgages, you could look into that. The KYC, Know Your Customer project targets to reduce the risk of lack of necessary information to prevent fraudulent transactions. The project involves the exchange of information about individuals, KYC attribute structure, between the participants of master chain decentralized network without disclosing information, constituting bank secrets, that's the liquor, and personal data of customers. Next steps were to scale up these solutions in terms of simplified identification, implementation of the digital ID concept. It's coming, y'all. Exchange of data on legal entities and exchange of credit histories. You know, I'm going to segue here. The amount of space that the court systems utilize in order to file the cases, the records for cases, will be extraordinarily reduced by utilizing blockchain. This will save money, this will save space, this will save time, this will save money because of security. Let's keep it going. Digital ID concept. Exchange of data on legal entities and exchange of credit histories. So your credit history will be on blockchain. The project operation scheme is presented in figure 2. KYC project operation scheme. And you could see when you're looking at the document how it's projected. The KYC project is projected to be set up, the logistics of it, the blueprint. The project of digital bank guarantees blockchain is designed to reduce labor costs for the process of obtaining, second to last page, y'all, just letting you know, and checking guarantees for all participants in the process, bank, principal, beneficiary. In addition, it aims to increase the security of bank guarantees and reduce the number of fakes on paper, as well as to expand the capabilities of bank guarantees through the use of smart contracts, such as Tezos, maybe? Huh? The final goal of the project is to create a blockchain of digital bank guarantees issued by banks operating in the Russian Federation and to avoid paper guarantees. It is intended that digital guarantee will be the primary digital document that will be reproduced on paper only if necessary for information purposes. The operation scheme of the digital bank guarantees blockchain is presented in figure 3. You could take a look at figure 3 again. Go to my Twitter, Topinoch, Topinoch, to check out the link. I can read better drunk than most people could read sober. God damn it. It's facts. The digital letter of credit project is aimed at reducing the terms of execution, I'm not drunk, of transactions on paid letters of credit. The project operation scheme is presented in figure 4. Digital letter of credit, project operation scheme 20. And again, it shows the blueprint for how this thing would be carried out. I appreciate you guys watching. I see you guys. 2 people. Let's finish up strong. Here we go. Its tasks include the inclusion of paper workflow and associated time delays in transactions, as well as automation of financial transactions. In accordance with the current Russian legislation, these projects can be implemented and commissioned after the legislation of the platform on which they are based. Thus, the Master Chain platform commissioning as an important event for the Russian financial market. The created infrastructure and technology open up new opportunities for the financial market development, including the implementation of the digital economy of the Russian Federation, national project regarding the development of end-to-end technology for blockchains. Let me say something. Thank you for the second like. Here we go. Let me just say something. So 2020, this paper was released explaining just how interested Russia is in this technology and the steps that they are proactively taking in order to roll this out. And what they would see would be the checks on their checklist that would have to be revised before moving forward, right? Meanwhile, the US, it seems that they have interest, but not really, in moving forward and progressing towards the future. They're slacking. So clearly, it's like one of the major powers, whether it be the BRICS nations, whether it be China on its own or Russia, competing against the US, one of these nations is gonna grab hold of the reins and run the future. US got to stop slacking, man. I'm a fan, but come on. It should be noted that in early August 2019, the final meeting of the focus group of International Telecommunication Union, ITUT, on the use of blockchain technology was held in Geneva. One of the working groups was led by the FinTech Association representative. I may have skipped something. Particular attention should be paid to the fact that the Master Chain platform was originally designed to meet the by design information security requirements. Given the first experience in creating certified blockchain platforms, the joint work of specialists from technology partners, the FinTech Association, and the Bank of Russia made it possible to obtain a platform that simultaneously meets the set functional requirements of market participants and information security requirements. All right, that's what I skipped. One of the working groups was led by the FinTech Association representative. The experts of the international standard body studied and positively assessed the architecture and functional models of the Master Chain platform built in accordance with Russian requirements. This is an important step towards international interaction of the Russian system with other similar foreign developments. The result of focus group work will serve as the basis for development of international technical standards and recommendations for providing practical assistance to developers, providers of technological solutions, government authorities, regulators, and financial market player throughout the world, i.e., all parties interested in using blockchain technology in their activities. All parties interested in using blockchain technology in their activities. So they're saying, we're developing this thing where the world can partake in. The channel I had in mind was ISO GOAT. The ISO GOAT. I'm going to forward this video to him and hopefully he'll be gracious enough to share it. Not necessarily just to grow my channel, that would be great. But if more people could be exposed to this, because to tell you honestly, if I didn't have a channel, I probably wouldn't have read this. And most of you probably wouldn't read this on your own with everything going on. You have your family, you have this, that, and the other taking up your time. That's it. that's the document. What do I take from this? Again, to wrap this up, XRP, Ethereum, Corda, Quorum, Hyperledger, Jasper, Paxos, Canada with CADcoin, MasterCard, Wells Fargo with R3, Corda, the German Deutsche Bank with Quorum. All of these institutions have been in the race for developing and understanding and participating in crypto since 2020 and prior to. We're now in 2023. We're about to get clarity, very likely that we are, at least in the US, on which cryptos are securities, which are not. The world does not necessarily care what the US categorizes these instruments as, but nevertheless, a positive ruling would, in my opinion, affect the world markets in a positive way when it comes to, in particular, Ripple, XRP, and all the other ISO 222 coins. That is yet to be determined. We are very, 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 very close, as it has been just about past 9 months where typically a judge has to decide before it starts looking negative on their resume, you could say. We're coming to a head in this whole thing. I have my bags ready. I'll tell you what, I'm looking at the charts. It looks like to me on the daily chart, we're seeing an inverse head and shoulders on XRP. It looks like we've hit the bottom. I do not believe we're going lower than 40 cents. If it does, any spare change I have will go into it. I'm strapped in. I'm ready to go. XRP, XLM, Hedera, XDC, Tezos even, not financial advice, Casper, XDC, I must have said. All these ISO 222 coins, super duper bullish on. Let's see what happens, man. Have a happy weekend, 3-day weekend. Drink responsibly. Don't overdo it. Your body will thank you. The Abundant Alchemist is out, baby. Love y'all.